Welcome back to the iWealth podcast. Today we're talking to Mr. Brad Connors out of Waseca with the iWealth Group, and we're talking specifically. Can I say iWealth Group? No,
you could say iWealth. The Mr. Brad thing's funny. So I was just at a meeting, Matt, and
Mr. Brad,
and it was North Carolina, and they all use it. So you'd be Mr. Matt, Mr.
Matt.
Phil.
I like Mr.
Miss Kendra, Miss Trudy. It's the first names. I'm like, is that a Southern thing or what? Because up here it's like Mr. Connors or Mr. Weekman.
Yeah.
But
after
but
I
they
did
use
it,
the
I
first
didn't
name.
even
They use the
know.
first name, and I kind of like it. I call Miss Trudy once in a while. She's like, really?
Miss Trudy, Miss
Really?
Carol,
Really?
Miss
Yeah.
Phil.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so the question is, I have a friend that has a parent that is 70 plus and is playing with the idea of transferring the house into the children's names.
Okay.
Okay. I have 3 kids that are a part of the family.
Yeah.
And the son that I'm friends with, he is hesitant about this because all of a sudden there's some debt that's on that house. There's also the responsibility that goes along with that.
Yeah.
What things come up in that scenario that I should?
A question. Do you know the why? Did your friend talk
The
about
catalyst
why?
is the health piece of it, right?
So
the
mom
parents
or
are
dad-
worried about their health, right? So
Not necessarily dying, but long-term care, probably, like what happens to the assets and things like that. Yeah. It's an interesting topic. It's complexity, which is why it's interesting. But there's some questions that need to be asked. Like mom and dad need to be asked, what's the why? Like whoever's helping them needs to figure out the exact why. And I suspect that the why is we don't want to give our house to the nursing home if something happens to our health.
Okay.
We worked hard for it, and we just don't want to see it sucked away because of our health care costs. And by the way, nursing home, do you know what the average nursing home cost is right now? You want to guess? Give me a guess. Southern Minnesota.
$60,000 a year.
So $5,000 a month?
Yeah.
Double it.
$120,000 a year.
Yeah, it's like $10,000 a month right now for long-term care. Now you can go in an assisted living facility and do it for 4, 5, 6. Just depends on what level of care. But you go in a nursing home, it's $10,000 a month, $12,000 a month. Like, it's not cheap. And so, if you can't afford that, then insure for it. Make sure you've got some long-term care insurance or something. But anyway, let's go back to dad and mom. So, and I've dealt with this many times over my years, and it's not just Brad. It's a trusted attorney that does Medicare planning. So you need to find an attorney that does that specific type of planning because they talk differently about it. So let's get back to the house. So mom and dad hypothetically have a house that's worth $300,000.
Yep.
Let's say hypothetically they owe $100,000 on it, so they have a $200,000 net worth. They probably have some IRAs from working, old 401ks and things like that. So let's just say that they got another $100,000 in investments, okay, in banks and things like that. So, $300,000 house, $100,000 in investments. They've got $100,000 in debt. And so you put all that together, they don't have an estate problem, okay? So there's no problem dying someday and giving it to your kids and having to pay a bunch of taxes to the federal government or the state of Minnesota. So we don't have to worry about estate taxes, okay? Now, with the house in long-term care, if that's the why, is the long-term care piece, there's a 5-year look back right now in the state of Minnesota. What that means is that if mom and dad give the house to let's just forget about the house. They take the $100,000, they have 3 kids, and they give them $30,000 each. That $30,000 each that they give them, those kids better hang on to it, because if mom and dad go broke on paper, and what I mean by that, have $10,000 or less to their name, so they basically need to be broke, the government is going to come back and ask for that $30,000 back if it's within 60 months or 5 years.
Okay.
That's the look back, okay?
5 years.
Yeah. And the reason they do that is because if all of a sudden I'm going to be in a nursing home in the next 6 months, and I got $1 million net worth, I just give it away to my kids, and now I'm broke, and so I go on the government dole, and you just take care of me, and they're like, no, we can't do that. So it used to be 3 years, now it's 5 years. There's been legislation out there to get it to look back forever. But at this point, it's 5 years. So they give that money. Mom and dad go in a nursing home a year later, $10,000 a month cost. All of a sudden, their house is ate up, and now they're going to go back to those kids and say, give us back that $30,000. We got to pay for your mom and dad's care. Okay, so that's the look back period.
Yep.
So the first takeaway for somebody listening to this that are in that age group or have parents in that age group is you have to do this earlier than you expect. You have to have this conversation earlier. Too many times this planning happens after all of a sudden, oh, mom's got early onset dementia. What should we do? This conversation needs to happen before that. So that's first and foremost. Secondly, let's get back to the house now. So dad and mom want to make sure that the kids they raised and love get the house or get the equity in the house. So we're just going to give it to them. So we're going to go down and we're going to hand the keys over and we're going to go to the courthouse and we're going to give it to our kids. Okay, or we're going to see a lawyer and we're going to give it to them. First of all, the bank won't let that happen because the bank is going to have to make the kids assume the loan. Because the loan is against the house. So whoever owns the house has to own the debt against it. So either the kids need to pay off this. So in our hypothetical scenario, the kids either got to pay off the $100,000, and then they can have it, or the bank's going to make them become the assignment if they even allow it to happen. They better have good credit, right? If they'll even allow it to happen. But so now let's assume that happens. So let's assume they go to the bank. Bank says, okay, you three kids are great kids. You now own it a third, and you have a third of the debt.
Yep.
Now the house, you go to the courthouse, you get the change into their name. We just made a gift to those kids. So that gift does a couple things. One, it starts the 5-year clock. Okay, so if mom and dad can stay out of a nursing home or stay where they can private pay, they can use that $100,000 of cash they have to pay for their care. And they get to 5 years in a day, and then they're broke, that house is now those kids, and the government can't come take it. Okay, so that's the first thing it does. The second thing it does is it triggers a gift tax return. And so the gift tax return, by the way, I should preface all this saying I'm not a lawyer. Okay, so go see a lawyer so you really get the true scoop on this, but I've been around long enough to be a little dangerous. So when it comes to the gift to those kids in a gift tax return, and a CPA will file that gift tax return. And what that means is that we can all die with a certain amount of money and not have to pay any estate taxes. In the state of Minnesota, it's around $3.5 million. Federally, it's around $12 million. We've already established these guys don't have an estate problem, but they got to file a gift tax return. That's no harm, no foul. All they're doing is using up, let's say the house is worth $300,000. They're using up $300,000 of their unified credit. They do a gift tax return. The kids don't have to pay any state taxes on it. Okay. Now, what I'm not clear on and what they have to get clear on is capital gains. So mom and dad bought that house at some point. Let's say that they bought it for $50,000 and now it's worth $300,000. When that gift happens, is there capital gains? When they die, is it capital gains? Like someone's got to pay that capital gains. Does it transfer? And then when they sell the house someday, so mom and dad die in 5 years from now, they sell the house. Do they have the capital gains then? Like I'm not clear on that.
Somebody's paying the capital gains.
But someone's going to pay capital gains. And I suspect it's the three kids and not mom and dad when they do the gift. The question is it right away or is it when the three kids sell the house? And if I had to guess, I think it's when they sell the house. But again,
so in this scenario, if it was transferred to the kids, then if one of the kids wanted to go out and get another loan to buy a different property, right? Yeah, mom and dad gave us the house, but now I want to go switch my house to a different house. All of that plays into the bank's decision for whether or not the level of loan. But does it help the kid in that scenario? The fact that they have some equity in a different house, or does it actually hurt the kid because it's still debt against the kid that was given this house? Which does it help or hurt?
How about both?
That's not a good answer. I don't like that answer.
Here's how I see it. So when you go into a bank, you got to give assets and liabilities, right?
Yeah.
And so an asset is the house plus a liability is the house. So you own 1/3 of a $300,000 house. So you have a $100,000 asset and a house. You have $30,000 because you got 1/3 of the debt. So you got $33,000 of debt against that $100,000. So you have equity in that. So potentially that helps you because you have equity. But somebody's got to make the payment on the $30,000. So when you look at your income and you look at your expenses, that's an expense because you're going to be making the payment. Even if mom and dad are gifting you the payment money, you're making the payment, right? So they give you a house, they give you debt.
And then it becomes weird family dynamics because your parents are gifting you money and then you're turning around and paying for their house.
So right now, mom and dad are paying the mortgage of the $100,000 hypothetically on this house. They might say, hey, we're going to continue to pay the mortgage, but the banks don't care. It's your debt. You have to service it. So that's where it potentially hurts you because you look at your income to debt ratio. That's so you got it. So anyway, that's why it's both.
That's why it's yes and no.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like raising your hand to create weird familyness.
Yeah. So what I've seen in the past is I've seen the cash is an easier thing to deal with. So I've had attorneys draw Medicare planning, let's call it, where they'll draw up a trust. And mom and dad will take that $100,000 and gift it to a child. That child turns around and puts it in a trust. The gift, when the $100,000's done, starts the 5-year clock. So that's the reason why. Maybe there's less tax issues because it's after tax money or something like that. So you don't have capital gains taxes potentially and things like that you're dealing with. And then in that trust, it protects it a little bit from liabilities. If that son, let's call it a son or daughter, doesn't matter. If they get in a car accident and get sued, it protects the money a little bit because it's in that trust. But ultimately, that kid could spend it or do something. Like you got to trust your kids that they're going to take care of it. So it's messy. I don't like the scenario you put together with me. I don't like the debt part of it. If there wasn't any debt on it, it makes it a little bit easier. So do they take the cash that's in the bank or in 401ks? Do they do something where they pay the debt off? And then those 3 kids have it fair and square. That might be a little bit better scenario to look at it, but they should talk to a Medicare planning attorney if that's the intent. Again, what's the reason, mom and dad? What's the why? Now, if the why is to escape probate, because probate some people think it's a terrible word, but it's not. Probate just means when you die, it's the settlement of all your stuff, okay? If the why is probate, they can put a TOD, a transfer on date of death, or it's something along that neighborhood. What it means is they can go to the courthouse and they can put those 3 kids as beneficiaries of that house. And when they die, the kids bring a copy of the death certificate and it's their house. But what that doesn't do is protect it from Medicare planning. Like if they go broke and they're spending $120,000 a year in a nursing home, that house is going to be gone pretty quick, right? They're going to put a lien on it and take it away. Now, what happens if mom and dad are living there and dad is in a nursing home but mom's not? Mom can continue to live in that house. They're not going to throw her out on the street. Okay, she's not going to be panhandling, looking for money in the street without a house. However, they're going to put a lien on that house. She's not going to be able to sell it or anything like that without them getting their money. So she can, keep her IRA, for instance. She can keep a car. She can keep up to $10,000. Like she can have a life insurance to pay for her funeral policy. Like there's some of those things that she can have. But when she dies, when the second of them dies,
then it goes to
it's not going to the kids. It's going to get sold and it's going to go to the county to pay for their care. So, I've helped some clients where they'll prepay their funeral. They're like, okay, got debt. This whole scenario is not going to work for me. But we have this money in the bank. We don't want to just give it to nursing home care. We can do a prepaid funeral. Mom and dad could walk in, each put $10,000 down in a funeral home and have everything paid for so there's no burdens on the kids. That's something worth, at least looking at in a scenario like this too, from a Medicare kind of standpoint. One last thing that's kind of funny. I've never did this. I never did it, but I've heard about it. I was in actually a CE class for insurance, and the guy brought this scenario up, and he had been through it. So somewhere's in the statutes, you're able to have a car.
Okay.
And you can have $3,000 cash, but it's like 10 grand max, right? And you can stay in your house till you die, and then they'll take it. They went and they bought like a Mercedes Benz. So they went and bought like an $80,000 car for little old mom that's hardly driving, but
Okay.
so now that's her car. Okay. That was their Medicare planning, because she can die and have a car.
Okay.
And then when she dies, then the kids get the Mercedes. Then they sell it, and then they split the cash that way. So I suppose, if you got a creative attorney, maybe you can work through that. I'm not advocating for that by any means, but I thought that's kind of interesting, huh? Mom and Dad are broke, but she's got her Mercedes. Here she comes.
$80,000 Mercedes. That's wild.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, does that help?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
all good things. I just wanted to hear you talk through that scenario.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Awesome.
very cool.
Well, thanks for being with us at iWealth, and have a great day, everybody.